The cleaners found it like this at 8 o'clock this morning. Everything was locked, shuttered, barred at 4:30 yesterday evening, as usual. The guard made his final round at 4:15 or so, which means that...
Did he see anyone suspicious?
No, but then the lights are kept low to preserve the artifacts.
And it's just the one knife that's missing?
Yes. Barotzi. Northern Rhodesia. Zambia, that is. I must change these labels. Given in 1919 to Bishop May by Zita III, paramount chief and son of Lewanika.
Paramount chief. My boss would like that. Who would want a single object like this, Miss Cottrell?
Well, it's not a particularly interesting knife as such. Wouldn't fetch much on the open market. Its value is really only anthropological.
Very broad blade. How sharp would this be?
Not very. It was for ceremony, not use. No one sharpened it for 75 years.
Could a member of your staff have taken it?
Anyone with access to the key cupboard, yes. But why draw attention to the theft by breaking open the case when all you have to do is fetch the key?
Could someone have hidden himself in here all night?
Yes, I suppose it's possible, but the slightest movement... Oh, it's quite spooky. This, you know, is the fabled land where myths go when they die.
James Fenton. My daughter's doing her A-levels.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Aren't you having one?
Oh, I've got 20 essays on Macbeth to mark. And I'm sorry to say I fainted in class this morning. Most unlike me. They sent me home or you wouldn't have found me in.
Go on, do you good. And I should feel lonely.
Well, all right then.
Mrs. Brooks spent the night here, I understand. Have you spoken to her since she went home?
No. Why?
Mr. Brooks has disappeared.
Jolly good. Here's hoping he doesn't come back. Brenda said you'd questioned him about Dr. McClure. And I know what Kay's been through.
You know Kay, then?
Kay? No, why?
You said you knew what she'd been through.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant Brenda. It's... I have this little problem in here. Quite a big one, actually. A physical, not mental. I mean to say one thing and something quite different pops out. Can be quite embarrassing. As a matter of fact, I've never met Kay Brooks.
Oh. Because?
Yes, of course. Brenda told me. Ted used to bash Kay about, too. Brenda's told me everything. The number of times I've had her in here, weeping and showing her bruises like it was St. Crispin's Day.
She seems very distressed about him disappearing.
Oh, she's infuriatingly old-fashioned, Brenda. She believes a wife should stick by her husband come what may, even when the husband makes her life complete misery.
When Mrs. Brooks got back last night, she didn't try to contact her husband at all? See how he was?
Good God, no. He gets drunk every night and very belligerent with it.
So really, you can't throw any light on...
I can give you chapter and verse about his violence, which dear loyal Brenda never will.
Some other time, perhaps. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day.
Hey, oh, where's Morse?
Out with a woman, sir.
What?
Interviewing a schoolmistress, sir.
Oh. A bit of skirt to do Morse good, as a matter of fact, if it's not too late. About your promotion, Lewis, I'm very sorry, but the way things are at present, it's just not...
Deputy Chief Constable on the phone.
All right. Another rocket about next quarter's estimated overspend. To tell you the truth, Lewis, I'm thinking of investing my entire budget in the lottery. It's the only way we'll ever make both ends meet. Ah, Morse. Oh, never mind. What does he want?
A holiday.
Brooks turned up yet?
No, sir. This knife that was stolen, it's very funny. It exactly fits the description of the one that must have killed Dr. McClure. I mean, I know McClure was killed last Sunday, and the knife wasn't even taken till last night, but...
Is this a dagger that I see before me? I'd rather see a pint.
Sergeant Lewis. What?
Chief Superintendent Strange isn't going to be pleased. It's definitely not a suicide. Ah, Morse. All this rapping. You'd think he was a mummy. Thames Valley, late 20th century, Elizabeth II dynasty. Now, don't say I don't do everything I can to help you. You look for someone. It's your chief suspect.
They're abolishing cheats.
Sir?
Oh, dear. Don't say I've upset him.
Excuse me. Do you work here?
I'm the waterman, yes.
Ah, right. Good. A body washed up here. Where do you reckon it would have gone in?
Bodies don't move much, except in floodwater, and we haven't had that since March. He won't have come far. Somewhere up above the bridge, I reckon.
Right, thank you.
Perhaps he wasn't paying his supplier. Or someone didn't like the drugs he sold.
Or someone didn't like the fact that he killed Dr. McClure. Who's so fond of McClure?
Kay Brooks. But you couldn't possibly haul him into the water up there. It must be 60, 70 yards from the road.
I'll have no fury.
Your store of old sayings is sadly meagre, Lewis.
Perhaps he was in the boot of a car. She just backed it down the water's edge and just rolled him into the river.
She'd have to get him into the car first.
And she had an accomplice. Her fiancé.
A man could have done it on his own. Do you know what I'd do if I had a corpse in the boot of my car? I would stop right here and chuck it over the parapet.
Make a bit of a splash, wouldn't it?
Well, who'd be listening?
Busy road.
Yes, it is now, but 3 in the morning.
Looks like they want us.
Oh, you don't have to watch this, Morse, if you don't want to. Sergeant Lewis and I can manage on our own.
Why don't you just get on with it?
Ready? Steady. Go. Good heavens. This really is a museum piece. There's even a label. Barotse, Northern Rhodesia, given in 1919 to Bishop May by Zita III, Paramount Chief, and...
That's the knife was stolen from the museum yesterday afternoon.
Really? Because it looks extraordinarily like the sort of weapon which killed Felix McClure.
But that's...
It can't be.
It's very broad looking, quite blunt.
If that knife was in the pit rivers till yesterday afternoon, it cannot have killed Dr. McClure last Sunday. It is a logical impossibility. Or is it? Julia. Her mind lay open like a drawer of knives.
Philip Larkin Deceptions.
We were most deceived.
What's this lined with, Miss Cottrell?
It's a new Wanda Hessian. Supposed never to fade.
So these knives leave no shadow?
If you take one out and move the others up a bit, there's no sign anything is missing.
No.
Ted Brooks was cleverer than we imagined. He realized with his access to the key, he could open the case, take out a knife, move the others up a bit, and no one would know.
Not immediately, no.
But if he took it on Saturday afternoon and put it back on Monday morning when he returned to work, which is what he meant to do...
He'd be very unlucky to get caught.
And he was unlucky. He had a heart attack. Come Monday morning, he was in hospital, a very worried man, because he couldn't just chuck the knife away. Wouldn't be long before it was missed. And then he'd be questioned, obviously.
But why the break-in? If the knife had already been taken. What was taken then?
Nothing. Obviously.
Why?
Must be somebody wanted us to think that wasn't the knife used on Dr. McClure.
Who would that be then, and why?
You said the knife was ceremonial, Miss Cottrell, not for use. It's been used to kill 2 men in the last 5 days.
The trustees aren't going to like this one bit. We will get the knife back.
After the trial.
Whose trial?
The trial of the daughters of Cain. Come on, Lewis, what was the first murder in the Bible? Cain killing his brother Abel, over whose sacrifice was more acceptable to the Lord.
How many daughters did he have?
I don't know. But Ted Brooks's death was very acceptable to the women who knew him. His wife, his stepdaughter, Julia Stevens.
So where does she fit in?
Brenda Brooks knew where the knife was, but she'd never have thought of using it. And Kay? No. Oh, Julia Stevens must have been the brains behind it.
Well, why the theft that never was?
Where were they all at the time, Lewis?
Mrs. Brooks and Mrs. Stevens were halfway to Stratford, so it must have been Miss Brooks.
No, I saw her getting on the train to Birmingham at 2:18. They've all got their alibis.
Miss Brooks could have got off the train at the next stop and come back.
We'll check her out.
We've done the CT, the computerized tomography, and there doesn't seem to be any major brain damage, but it's not good. Brains can be funny things.
Yes, indeed.
Not that he seems to have much of a brain at all, to judge by his record.
Oh, he has a brain. And a heart. If anyone would give him a chance. Hello, Kevin? What What were you doing in that car?
Celebrating.
Celebrating what?
You.
Okay.
You don't have to pretend, Mrs. Brooks. I know all about your husband, how he treated you.
He was my Ted. 23 years we've been together. 23 years.
But he was a murderer. He killed Dr. McClure, didn't he?
Dr. McClure found out that...
That your husband was still supplying drugs to undergraduates so that you could have a new kitchen.
Well, the kitchen did need doing. You should have seen it.
Still supplying drugs, though he'd previously been warned. So Dr. McClure said he'd report him to the police.
He didn't tell me nothing about what he was going to do. Just went off on his bike after breakfast. When he came back in a taxi, you could have... He was ever so grey. He'd started getting these pains in his chest, you see. So he left the bike. He didn't want to take his hands out of his pockets. Not while the taxi was there. Because of the blood. There was ever so much blood. So he pretended he didn't have any money and he sent me out to pay the taxi off. When he took his mac off.
What did you do with the clothes?
Took them to the incinerator on the way to visit him in the hospital.
Was that your idea or his?
Of course you can look at it. You can have it if you like. Bloody thing's always going wrong. I was going to change it, but my coordination since I started being ill, I can't even get it in the garage anymore, let alone out again.
What about the knife? What did you do with that?
What knife?
The knife Mr. Brooks used to kill Dr. McClure.
I don't know anything about it.
What did he say he did with it?
Nothing. And I didn't ask.
Someone used that knife again to kill your husband.
Did they? How was that then?
Come on. Are you seriously saying you don't know who killed your husband?
Of course I don't.
When did you last have the car out, madam?
Wednesday.
So who put it away that time?
Kay.
Kay Brooks.
What?
You said Kay put the car away.
I'm sorry, I'm always doing that. It's, this damned, When I was collecting the tickets at Stratford the other night, I gave my name as William Shakespeare.
Who did put the car away last Wednesday, madam?
One of my pupils. They all drive like Damon Hill from the third form on. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. I keep having these turns. It's...
Which one of your pupils, madam?
What?
Which of your pupils put the car away?
Oh, I can't... I'm sorry, my sight, there's something... It's a tumour, it presses on the optic nerve.
Mrs. Stevens! Mrs. Stevens!